Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially 1 year away. The first Tuesday in November. This is the 1 year preview to the 2024 U.S. election, and what an interesting time it will be. We are expecting right now Joe Biden to take on Donald Trump. And first, before I make my official predictions, I am going to be talking about the current polls now. The polls are pretty much meaningless right now, but in terms of these predictions, I am going to partially use them to, base the swing states and things like that. Just taking a look quickly at the overall popular vote. So this, you can see very even right now. Trump sitting basically +1. This would be a very positive development for Trump if he could stay even or around even with Biden in terms of the popular vote polling, just because we've seen Trump lose the popular vote by 3 points and still win the election. You would think the Democrats are going to run up high population numbers in New York, California. That's going to give them the edge. So if Trump can kind of be even there, that's a really good sign. And then these are just the swing states right now. You can see in Georgia, Trump +5.5. I would certainly say that Georgia, although it did go Democrat in 2020, I would say it leans Republican in 2024. Pennsylvania, Trump +2. That's a pure toss up to me at this point. Michigan, you can see Trump +1.2. I would actually lean slightly Democrat with Michigan. When I look at the Rust Belt, I view Michigan as the most liberal right now, but the polls are saying it's basically even. Nevada is Trump +2.5. Very interesting development there. Wisconsin, basically a tie. You have Arizona, Trump +3.5. If Trump can win Arizona and Nevada, I mean, you're stacking some decent popular vote numbers there with states that Biden won in 2020. And then this is just the overall betting average right now. Trump in red, Biden in blue. Trump sitting with basically a 4-point advantage right now. We just got a swath of polls a few days ago that had Trump up pretty heavily, and that's kind of jolted him there. You can see on the far right at the top, up even a little bit more, 4 points above Biden. Biden enjoyed a bit of a lead there for much of it. He's come down a little bit. And then you do have DeSantis, very, very much of a long shot at this point, around a 4% chance. Very likely not going to be the Republican nominee outside of something happening to Trump in terms of his legal situation. You do have Gavin Newsom sitting there, actually trending up a little bit. So yes, that's a development to watch with Gavin Newsom. A lot of people actually expect Gavin Newsom to be the guy for the Democrats, because right now, Joe Biden, you look at his approval rating right now, it's horrifically bad. So the Democrats could easily pull the card of Biden is incompetent, he's too old. They could really do it at any point, depending on if they think Biden has a slim chance to win, and go with the younger Gavin Newsom. You do have Nikki Haley, kind of the establishment Republican choice, sitting at around 6%. She would be, I'm guessing, the number one choice outside of Trump. It feels crazy to say that considering where DeSantis was just 7 or 8 months ago. You do have Michelle Obama, very unlikely at this point. I think we would have heard more about Michelle Obama by now if she was actually going to throw her hat into the ring. You do have RFK, possibly the independent. Certainly, there's a lot of people in this country that think America needs a hard reset, and electing an independent would certainly do that. But I guess I'll just talk about it right now. The dynamics in America with the two-party system makes it virtually impossible for an independent. Even with all of the sentiment, everybody saying the system is horrible, it's rigged, you still have Democrats that just will not vote for an independent because they view potentially voting for an independent as a vote for a Republican, and then Republicans think the same thing. These people just want to vote for their own parties. Even if they don't like their parties, they'll still vote for them. How many times do you hear Democrats say they hate Biden, but they're still voting for him? It's just not, there's just no way at this point Kennedy, an independent, could win. And then you do have Kamala Harris. It's not happening with Kamala. And then Vivek has really fallen off. He's only 38 years old at this point. And then taking a look, this was interesting. Nikki Haley versus Biden. Certainly, I don't expect Nikki Haley to be the nominee, but you can see she's up on Biden. But guys, let's get to it right now. Here it is. I do have Trump, Biden, Kennedy as an independent, as well as West, Cornel West, another independent right there. That's who we're going to be basing this off of. I'll just say right now, Kennedy and West are going to win 0 states. They could certainly impact the election. I think right now, there's been a lot of debate with RFK. I'm guessing he hurts Trump because my view on RFK is the one voter that he'll be able to steal. They're the people that are slightly right wing and they really don't like Trump's antics, but at the end they'll kind of hold their nose and vote for him. Now they actually have someone to vote for, and that's why all the Trump people have come out against Kennedy, and they should, absolutely. If an independent is gonna steal your votes, absolutely you need to come out and attack him, say he's gonna take your guns, say he's obsessed with the climate, do all of it to try and guard against potential slight Republicans voting for the independent over Trump. But let's get to it right now. This is just Trump versus Biden. It certainly could be Gavin Newsom. Maybe Trump has significant legal problems. It becomes Nikki Haley or DeSantis. But right now, we do expect it to be Trump and Biden. And obviously, with some of these states, Washington, Oregon, there's no way that Trump can win. California, same thing. I'm actually going to do these two down here because I always forget them. How about Alaska in 2020? Do you guys remember they didn't even call Alaska until like 3? Well, actually, you know what? Based on how slow they counted the votes, Alaska came in record time. My God, was 2020 brutal. Can we not do that again, please? For the love of God. The last thing, no matter who wins, let's have a president by like 2 a.m. Eastern. We're not doing the same thing where we, take 5 days at 4 a.m. Oh my God, it's a Christmas miracle. Joe Biden has flipped literally every swing state while everyone is asleep on the East Coast. And I'm not insinuating he cheated. I'm just saying the whole thing is ridiculous. We have the biggest economy. We're the most powerful country in the world, yet we cannot properly count votes. And listen, just count the mail-in ballots earlier. That's fine. That's, you can do that. That's how I would do it. Do it like Florida, because they get their stuff in right away. They already have their mail-in ballots counted before the actual, I think even before Election Day or right on Election Day, they already have them counted. And then they count all of the same day votes within a 3 or 4 hour period. The mail-ins are already in. It's a lot easier of a system. I don't know why every state doesn't adopt that. How about Arizona with Katie Hobbs and how horrible they are with elections, but they have their head literally in the sand? It's like, just change how you do it. I mean, do you not want the winner to be known so the general public isn't sitting in the dark? Okay, guys, so Nevada, I'm not going to do Nevada. I'm going to do all the obvious ones here. I don't really have to talk about these for Trump. Nebraska is interesting. So you do have the districts. The one district in Nebraska, Biden won. I'm guessing it's the Lincoln district. The one with the bigger city, yeah, it has to be. Biden won it by about 5 points. I think he loses it in 2024. So that would actually be my first flip. It's a single electoral vote, though. It's not that big of a deal. Iowa's not a swing state at all. Kansas, Oklahoma. So Texas, it's just not going to happen. There was, the narrative with Hillary possibly flipping Texas in 2016. Never happened. There was really no narrative in 2020, and there's not going to be a narrative in 2024. The demographics are changing. You are getting more liberal people moving into Austin, but it's just not nearly enough. You need a ton of people to move from California to Texas, and a lot are, but not nearly enough to significantly change that state by 2024. Maybe 2032 at the earliest, I would say. But just moving back to Biden, New Mexico certainly. Colorado very likely. You could say maybe there's an outside shot. I don't see it. I forgot Utah. So Arizona, Nevada, we'll save. Those are two of the bigger swing states. Minnesota, you can kind of argue is a swing state. I'm going to give it to the Democrats at this point. I would say maybe Trump, maybe a 5 to 10% chance. It's probably not going to happen, though. Illinois certainly going to the Democrats. Although, wasn't there a poll? No, that was New York. There was a New York poll that only had Biden +9. That is crazy to me. Oh, yeah, the other thing I forgot to show, Biden's approval rating historically low. So if Biden wants to win this election, based on how bad his approval rating is, he needs to significantly improve it, at least get it to around 42, 43%, or the Democrats just need to get rid of him and say, oh, he's too old, he can't function. Everyone obviously already knows that. That's what they need to do, and they might end up doing it. We will see. But when it comes to all of these dimple states, all of these outside of New Hampshire, I believe, are easily going to the Democrat, no matter what. New Hampshire is a swing state. Maine is another one that's interesting. You have districts in Maine. I think what I'm going to do with Maine is I'm going to give Biden 2 of the votes or 3 of the votes and then give Trump 1 district. That's fine. I'm not going to overcomplicate that and try and decipher through each district. That's how I'll allot those. And then moving back to Trump, you've got all of these down here. Georgia will leave alone. South Carolina, yes. North Carolina is a swing state. Virginia still a swing state. All of these are Trump. All of these are Trump. So both Ohio and Florida, certainly interesting. I did see a recent poll out of Ohio that was pretty negative for Trump because he was only +5. Not that it really matters. It's a single poll, but I would be optimistic if I saw that if I was the Democrats. +5 is not nearly what I think a Republican should be up at this point. And if you look at J.D. Vance really was not good. He won in 2022 in the midterms, but he was like +5 or +6. I really think the Republicans should be +8 to 10 in Ohio, but certainly Ohio is still, you would think, is still going to be Republican. And then Florida, the DeSantis factor, the crazy amount of registered Republicans entering the state, it's just ridiculous. And that's really going to give the Republicans a legitimate chance in terms of their electoral map. Already having Florida in their back pocket, it is virtually not a swing state anymore, at least at this point. So now I believe we have there's New York. Yeah, no way is the Republican winning New York, even though there was that one funny poll. And here we go. So we've got 220 to 208. We're looking at all the swing states, and right now, based off of all of the data we currently have, I would have Trump the favorite to win both Nevada and Arizona, and this is really a combination of Biden's horrible approval rating. We know elections are won with the economy. The economy is doing horrifically bad right now. The idea that, we've increased jobs a record amount. Yeah, no kidding. We had the pandemic, which completely eliminated tons of jobs, and then they got added back, and Biden wants credit for increasing jobs at a record rate. Nevada and Arizona right now, and really Nevada specifically, I think is trending Republican. We will see. Maybe Biden can turn it around. Obviously, this is a way too early prediction. There's no way that exactly this is going to be the electoral map. We're going to get a number of things. We're going to get a number of attacks on Trump. He's going to have to go to court. He's going to face judges. I think he's going on Super Tuesday or something in Georgia, something like that. I don't know. Speaking of Georgia, I think the Republicans win Georgia in 2024. I was shocked they lost it in 2020, to be honest. Georgia is a Republican state. And I say that, and then you'll wonder, well, if Georgia is Republican, how did Democrats win it in 2020? I think they really utilized mail-in ballots, especially when it came to the inner cities. They ran up just absurd numbers in DeKalb County, Fulton County. It was just ridiculous. I don't think that's going to happen in 2024. The other thing that's important to note, the Democrats are kind of becoming like the boy who cried wolf. It's like 2016, Trump's an existential threat. He's going to kill everyone. They say the exact same thing in 2020. They're going to say the exact same thing in 2024. I mean, how many times can you overuse the same crap? Trump is Hitler, Trump is racist, Trump is sexist. Nobody is buying any of that anymore. So there's not a motivation to go to vote for someone like Joe Biden, who's literally a corpse at this point. And the Democrats, let's be honest, they got royally screwed by the Israel-Palestine current situation. They cannot win with a situation like that. And Biden is becoming even more unlikable within his own party because he is taking kind of an establishment Republican stance, siding with Israel. And again, that's a no-win situation, but it's just not good politically. North Carolina, so Trump won North Carolina, but barely, both in 2016 and 2020. I think he wins it slightly again, just based off of polling averages. Virginia's very interesting to me. Certainly, you would have to say right now, the Democrats are the favorites in Virginia. They've won it pretty handily, although Glenn Youngkin with a very surprising win there a few years ago. But I am going to give it to Biden here. I do think he wins Virginia. Right now, we do have Trump at 269, Biden at 221. When it comes to the Rust Belt, right now, there are really three swing state Rust Belt states. I would say Biden's best chance is Michigan, and I think Biden could eke out a win in Michigan, and then I would have Trump certainly take Wisconsin. Pennsylvania is a complete toss-up. It's basically 50-50. I would go Trump slightly, and then New Hampshire, I would also lean Trump slightly there. So at this point, I do not have Kennedy or West winning any states or getting any electoral votes. I think their best chance, actually Kennedy's best chance, might be in a district probably in Maine. That would be Kennedy's best chance, or maybe an outright state like New Hampshire, like a smaller populated swing state. that would be the only way an independent could possibly win a state, unless we get a massive shift in the way Americans view this. I know you'll go online and you'll see a lot of people that want an independent, that are tired of Republicans and Democrats, but trust me, guys, the vast majority of Americans, if they're Republican and they think about voting for an independent, they say, well, if I vote for an independent, that's just a vote for the left, right? Because obviously they think all the people on the left are going to vote liberal, and there's just no way. It's just a never-ending system we have right now. But either way, I think this is a pretty fair prediction. I mean, you could say at this point, certainly there's a few 50-50 states that could lean Biden's way, like Pennsylvania would be one. Another one might be Arizona. That would make, I mean, this is how close these elections are. That would make it basically a complete toss-up. And that's what the election is right now. But I feel confident about Trump in Nevada and Arizona. Those states are absolutely critical. I mean, that's a huge electoral vote swing. You're going from Democrat plus 17 to that's a 34 vote swing right there with those two states if Trump can win them. And then you're talking about really just needing one of these three to easily win, Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin. You also do have Georgia, Democrats possibly eyeing Georgia again. I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to have to run up just ridiculous numbers. But if they somehow flipped that, look at how close this is. Now Biden wins. But no, I do expect, at least at this point, Trump to win the 2024 election. It would be, at this point, just shocking for Biden based on his approval rating. Obviously, the Democrats, they understand, right now they're not in a good spot, but they realize the election is still a year away, and there will be tons of legal attacks against Trump. There might be a change of guard for the Democrats if they really think Biden's approval rating cannot improve. I do think you will start seeing some different things implemented by the Democrats that we typically see in an election year. You're going to see them try and really revive the economy, do whatever they need to do to drive gas prices down, even if that means taking slightly more Republican stances when it comes to the economy. And then also, we will see the Democrats probably about a month or two before the election reintroduce some type of major student loan relief, just kind of dangling in front of kids, just like you do a mouse with cheese when you're setting a trap. And oh my goodness, it's a month before the election. And what a miracle. The Democrats have just introduced a bill to remove kids' student loan debt up to $20,000. It is basically bribing kids to go vote for the Democrats, and the kids are dumb enough to actually do it because they don't realize none of that crap is ever getting passed. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.